this morning.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It was good. It was good. Keelan had her glucose test or whatever, so she had to chug that disgusting
Yeah, yeah,
drink. Do you
yeah.
remember that? Yeah.
Yep, that was
So
horrible for Shaylee because she doesn't even do sweets in general.
no,
So yeah,
she's a she's a trooper though. We went to a networking event, like I told you, at 7 a.m. this morning, and then we went straight to the doctor after that to do that test. So
really.
yeah, yeah, she's a trooper.
Yeah, it's been good. We took CJ out last night. So my younger brother Nick, who I don't know if you've met Nick yet.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Came to the golf
moving.
tournament, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, okay, you guys
hmm
have met him.
hmm
He's actually moving to Ohio today. So he
Whoa.
got a he got
Oh,
a
him and
roomie.
Joey.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
Joey, one of our associates,
Oh, that's
lives.
right.
Yeah,
Where is he in Ohio? Nick's going to Bowling Green.
Mayfield, which is
I
like
don't know who
outside
that
of
is.
Cleveland,
Okay.
suburb of Cleveland.
45
Okay.
minutes from Cleveland, I think he said,
Yeah,
maybe 30.
yeah,
So he's heading out today. He got a really good job opportunity, so he's going to go out there. So we did kind of like a little bit of a going away dinner, and also for his girlfriend, it was her birthday. So we took CJ out to Papacito's, his first restaurant,
there you
and he
go.
was super, super well behaved. He was just hanging out, doing great. We were really proud of him.
That's awesome.
I was like, I don't know, he might know that he's got an audience, and all of a sudden he's deciding to be a good little boy. I,
Yeah,
I was expecting. I mean, he's always been well behaved, but I was expecting him to get hungry and start
yeah.
crying. And I fed him, and he was good, but he was chilling the whole time. He was good.
I'm excited to have that urge to get home. Like when you and I went golfing, was it last week? I remember at the end, one of the guys was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get a beer," and we were like, "Nope, we're out of here." And you were like, "I'm gonna go
Yeah,
see my little man." Like just
yeah.
like
I was like,
you
I
have
gotta
that.
go get back to my little guy.
Yeah, you have such that excitement to get back. And man, we had an ultrasound today. Got to see like his nose profile from the side and stuff. Man, so cool.
Surreal. It's the
His
best
arm, his
feeling.
arm was like up here. He was flexing again. It was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Matt and I
awesome.
were on a call the other day, and I was like, hold on, I gotta bring in the boss man.
That's awesome.
Brought him in on the call. Yeah.
Dude, Brady's foot is like up here. Like he's
Really?
like folded. Yeah, it's crazy. He's like it's nuts. It's nuts. So I'll have
It's
to
so
send
much
you guys
fun.
the video or the pictures.
Just wait until he comes. You would never think that you would just be so content and entertained by just staring at a human like indefinitely.
Yeah.
Like when he arrives, you will be like, you'll never want to take your eyes off him, and you will not get bored or dissatisfied ever. You'll just be able to stare at him forever and be the happiest you've ever been.
That's cool. I remember you told me you're like the first couple weeks sleeping, like every little like squeak and noise, you're like, "What? Is he okay?" And
Yeah.
I told Caitlin you told me that, and I'm like, "That's totally gonna be me and her, 100%."
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
It only gets easier though, and
yeah,
Brady's gonna make all sorts of crazy noises in the middle of the night. I think,
yeah,
and when changing diapers is not gonna be a smooth sailing process, he's gonna be doing crazy legs and kicking and all over the
yeah.
place. I think that's the other thing. Changing diapers, they're not just sitting there like, okay, thank
No.
you. No, it's like an alligator doing the death roll. Like it is, like you are going to war.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had three little sisters growing up, so I know all about diaper
Oh
changing.
yeah, you know,
But
yeah.
so I know the alligator roll, but I don't know what it's like to have, stuff shooting up, if you know what I mean. So we'll see what happens there. So,
Yes, you'll start
uh,
to kind of know when he's like maybe gonna pee.
yeah.
So you'll like undo the diaper and you're like, oh gosh, okay. Put a rag over and start operating
Yeah.
as fast as possible. Yeah, I've had a couple experiences where things
Let's
just start flying. I'm like, oh gosh, it's on the TV, it's on, oh, someone got it in his head, what the heck?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny.
Let's introduce I want to introduce you to anybody in our group that's listening, any listeners that we have. So Cody and I met a few years back and just really hit it off. And Cody, just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what you do and kind of how we got connected.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. Born and raised in Houston, Texas, and Always grew up in an athletic family where all we did was sports year round. So played football at Harvard, grad transferred, played at Sam Houston State down the road, and had a really good experience there. Bounced around for a season in the NFL and had some really unique experiences that led me to doing this. I always tell the story when I got to the Packers and a bunch of my teammates were asking me for financial advice, and I was so shocked that we didn't have the right sort of financial help in our corner. I really thought I just assumed that was something that was exclusively reserved for us at that level. I don't know if that is an unrealistic assumption, but that was just kind of what I thought going into it. I thought that those people were set up with the best of the best. So whenever I got cut, just intermittently, I was doing this professionally as a financial advisor, just kind of out of curiosity to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting till I got the next phone call, not really with long-term intent. It was not ever what I expected to do in my career. And then, um, as I was trying out for teams, as I was, kind of negotiating some contracts with alternative leagues and evaluating what was next, I finally decided to go to a networking event. It was the first networking event that I ever went to. And I was
I didn't
pretty
know that.
nervous. It was the first one I ever went to. I don't think I ever told you this actually. I had
That's
gone
some crazy
to
luck.
Yeah.
probably I this is a little bit embarrassing. I had probably gone to like three or four before, got in the parking lot and turned around and went home because I was just like, I don't want to do this.
Well, was it
I
social anxiety?
um I was there was two things. I It was a little bit of like fear of the unknown. Like I hadn't been in that environment, so I wasn't really confident in my
You're just
ability
going to
to
walk in
network
and you're just like,
effectively.
you're probably not going to talk to anyone.
And then the other thing was I felt a little bit disingenuous because I was still pursuing my football career.
That's
So
what I was
I
thinking.
was really concerned actually genuinely about meeting someone like Garrett and then developing a business
Yeah.
relationship and then just saying, okay, 2 weeks later, now I'm playing for the Seahawks or, now I'm in Canada playing for the Tiger Cats. Because I was in that moment, I was in the process of negotiating contracts.
Right.
Um, so yeah, there was a little bit of just like, I guess this social anxiety of like, I haven't done this before. This is not a part of, the business world that I've engaged in. But two, there was a little bit of an ethical conflict of like, what if I do meet someone? What if they do refer me a client? And then, 3 weeks later, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, is that okay to do? I don't think so. Um,
Makes sense.
but it was at the point where I was really I was getting pretty deeply immersed into my current career where I was thinking, okay, if let me explore these next steps, of networking and building these relationships and let's see how I can do it. And it was part of a determining factor in me deciding to retire and stop playing because right away I met Garrett. We obviously hit it off extremely quickly, developed a great business partnership and friendship. Um, the Entrepreneur Lounge then developed, and that was part of what did give me the comfort to say, you know what, I'm building a really good thing here. And, I've made commitments to business partners, clients, and these relationships that I've made. And now I'm okay to step away from the game. So it was a big first step there to say, okay, I'm very confident and passionate about my career. I've made the commitments and taken the next steps that give me the comfort to say I can step away from football. Um, so yeah, it was the first event, and it was I always joke and say it was a really bad event, but at the same time, we met each other, so
Yeah.
it technically was the best event I ever went to, right?
The event itself was pretty bad.
The event itself was really bad, but we
Yeah.
met each other there, which made it the best
Yeah.
event.
Good thing you didn't get in the
Yeah,
parking lot and turn around.
yeah, and I sat in my car for a second. I was like, I really don't want to go to this, and then I was like, but I drove kind of far for this, so
Yeah.
I think I need to go. Like I'm in River Oaks right now. It's like 45, 50 minutes from home. Like I've
Yeah.
made the commitment to drive here. Um, so yeah, that was a big turning point. So then, we all got connected. We were extremely like-minded. We decided to build the Entrepreneur Lounge and just create an easy space for like-minded and high-quality individuals to do good business together, to grow together, to be good extensions of our services, to, in essence, be able to have some semblance of that multidisciplinary office that we've talked about in a lot of circumstances. And so many doors have opened from that. Now we're doing, I think, some really impactful high level work, working with athletes and helping them in the world of NIL and professional sports with really high dollar amounts that are young age in a short earning window. And, um, with my story, there's people that don't know where to go or who to trust or where to start with these things. And
Mm.
I think it's incredibly impactful. The team approach that we bring, where we actually bring the CPA and the financial advisor together and work as a team. Like Matt and I, the call that we were on the other day, we got on a planning call for one of our athletes, and we just kind of went to work together, and it was actually quite fun. I got to see Matt's Excel skills, which was inspiring.
Yeah.
I need to do a training session with Matt.
He
he
helped
got
me
he
a
got
lot.
he got pissed off. He got mad at me. He was like, "What the hell is going on here?"
Yeah, no,
But,
so no, so on the Excel, I'm populating it and I'm like, I change a number and the term I use is hard coded. So if something has a formula, it automatically calculates if you change a number that it pulls from. But if you don't have a formula and it just has a number in there, I call it hard coded. So because in accountant speak, I go, where the hell did this number come from? So like I'm plugging in numbers and I make one change and I'm assuming it's going to populate or it's going to change all of the numbers following because I think they're all formulas. So like if at the bottom it's got a sum, like it's the total of the top five, I'm assuming the bottom's going to change. I look at it and I go, nothing's changing. I'm like, did you hard code all these? How'd you
I'm
make
getting
this?
I'm getting exposed right now.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So I ended up redoing the sheet. I think Cody saw me change it like 6 times. I'm like, all
It
right, I'm
looks
gonna do
great
it this
now.
way. No, I'm gonna do it this way.
That's all right, man. Those things you guys put together are awesome. Those are super impactful. It makes it super easy for the athlete. I wanted to touch on too with the NIL stuff. I mean, we're making, Cody and I with the on the relationship side are making such an impact. And then Matt, meeting with these athletes quarterly to do some tax planning, answer any questions. We're always on demand for them to book meetings, but at least having that concrete quarterly meeting has been so powerful. And Cody and I are really making a dent. I know he's made a bunch of connections where we'll be going and speaking at some schools here in the next few months. And, we just signed an athlete from the Big Ten. We're meeting later this afternoon with a general manager in the ACC. And then I also have a call today with an SEC player's mom. So that'll be pretty cool. We're making a serious impact, and I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's something that makes me really proud and just happy about the career path that I found, and I'd say the partnership that I found with y'all, because I feel like whenever we have these calls and we actually see the monetary impact that is being made, it is truly remarkable. And to hear that sometimes they're like, I would have never done this if we didn't get connected with you. I would have never done anything like this. I'm
Right.
running the numbers, and it's like we just made a multi seven figure impact on this person's
Yeah.
life. We made an impact that could change generations for this individual. This could be a multi million dollar difference between this meeting and not having this meeting. And then I really do believe this. Like, what does that do for, the mental psyche of the athlete when one, they don't have to attribute the time
Hmm.
towards trying to figure out these, the financials of life, how to navigate making that kind of money at 19, 20, 21 years old. But two, knowing that you have options beyond your career, that you already put a plan in place, that if you do nothing else, you actually are taken care of in the future. What, a multi seven figure nest egg. I feel like there's something about that that really can impact your performance because now there's not a monetary impact for, a negative play. And I know that that was big for me. I always say this in the meetings. I was an undrafted guy. I didn't ever really drop the ball, but if I did drop the ball, I felt like it was $1 million drop. If I had, I wasn't in the NIL era, I just missed it. But if I did, make the kind of money that some of these athletes had and had it set aside, I do feel like there's something comforting about that that would have allowed the game to slow down a little bit for me, that wouldn't make me overthink the little things because of, the monetary consequence that could be involved in it. I think that that's big time. And I've heard personal anecdotes from some athletes where they're like, it makes me like forget about the monetary side of things. Like I don't feel like I'm playing for a paycheck anymore. I feel like I'm just playing because this is what I love to do. And I know that helps a lot.
I can see that. Cody, you should see if they can give you back pay for your 7 years.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice?
All the money I made the school, I want my cut. No, but Matt, I think you're going to say something real quick, but I wanted to just touch on, one of the important things Cody just mentioned. Of course, it helps the on-field, but we've heard some horror stories from some agents. I know one agent in particular, when we first started working with him, he, this was a couple years ago when we started really getting into the NIL stuff, probably late 24, early 25, when I partnered with an agent, and he was telling me about how you'll see a lot of guys transfer, and still to this day, I see some transfers. Like I know the entire University of Texas running back room pretty much transferred last year. And I'm like, why? Why would you leave Texas? Well, and I don't know if this was their situation, but one of the things that one of the agents told me was these guys don't set themselves up and they have so much tax debt, they got to go get a bigger deal. They may not want to transfer, but they need to go get more money to then pay the IRS. And it's like, man, just they're a lot of time these guys, that means they're transferring from schools that they may not want to leave, but they have to. They have no other choice. And that really sucks. And I don't want any of our clients, if they work with us, that won't happen. But I just don't like seeing guys, especially that young, run into situations like that.
Yeah. You guys are someone right now who had a $500,000 deal in college.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That is so much money as at any juncture in life, but in college where you've got the responsibilities of being a student athlete, film, more meetings, practice, weights, class, treatment. You've got a lot of responsibilities where I don't even think there's many opportunities to spend that kind of money. But if it is spent, there's definitely high dollar items that those things can be spent on. But he didn't have a tax plan. Years have passed, and he's still, he's in a situation that you guys are helping him out with to resolve that. But now working with him with his new contract on the financial side of things, the amount of urgency that he has, like the way that he talks about his prior spending habits and like how important it is now to be able to put these plans in place and really stick to the budget that we've created and the plan that we've created. It's really fascinating to see that change. But it's also, to me, really rewarding because it's like, unfortunately, we didn't connect with him whenever he had that first deal. But now we can see the impact that we're creating and how comforting it is for him. And even though, it upsets him that we weren't connected with him at that time, it's still very early in his career and he's still making good money and he's still going to have a better plan than the vast majority of people.
It's, you connected me with someone the other day who is playing pro basketball now, and he's got some tax debt from when he was in college. And when I talked to him, I could hear like almost the regret. Like, God, why was I, like, he didn't say this, but almost it felt like he was thinking like, man, why didn't I do this? Why was I being so stupid, And it's kind of tough. You put 6-7 figures into a 19, 20, 21-year-old Tan, and I know what I would have done with that much money at that time. So I didn't. Yeah. So I don't know. I just could hear the regret and kind of the
Yeah.
I don't know. I
But
guess the
the key
regret is the
thing
first hit.
here is that with a lot of people at that age, they don't know people like us.
Yeah.
They don't know professionals that can.
Cody, when you were playing, do you have an idea of how many of the guys on your team knew what they were doing with their money or had someone to tell them what to do with it? When you were in the
In terms
NFL,
of rookies, it was like it was a low amount, at least
really?
from the conversations that I had. The vets, it's a bit different. The vets have, for the most part,
Mhm.
So the
have
guys that
been
were on their second contracts.
correct.
Well,
But the thing is, how many people earn a second contract? Not a lot of people earn a second contract in
Right.
football. That's what people don't realize.
No.
Right. So
I
there's more,
remember.
there's a lot of factors that goes into it.
I
Mhm.
remember Cody. I won't say who. You told me who, but someone walked in with like, "Hey, I just had $2 million going to my bank account. What am I supposed to do?"
I know.
And you were like, "What? What? You don't know what to do?"
Yeah, I was like, well, I understand this stuff really well, but I don't want this. I'm your teammate. I don't want this responsibility.
Crazy.
And he told me, he was like, well, I don't know where to go. So you're supposed to be you're the Harvard guy. You're supposed to be smart. So I'm trusting you. You're my teammate. And I was
Yeah,
like,
you're the money guy.
goodness.
Thank God the NFL's W-2 income, because if it wasn't, we'd have a lot more problems.
That part does help.
Yeah.
So it is remarkable because a lot of them, and this is normally when I do get, if I get connected with some of these guys, a lot of them, one of the first things they say is, I've been looking for an advisor. And I always tell them, I'm like, sometimes it's hard to find because no one types into Google CPA near me or financial advisor near me and just clicks on the first person. Like that's, especially in the world of athletics, because it's a different world.
Well,
And
you know
I
what's
professional sports. So you
you know
want
what's
someone
tough
who,
is it's a profession. Attorneys is one of them, CPAs, accountants, and financial advisors. Those professionals, you want to trust them. You want to have a high amount of trust in them so they don't take advantage of you and they're in
right,
your best interest, right? And so unfortunately, especially with the athletes, is they just don't have the time to do the vetting process sometimes. They're focused on sports. They're focused on their athletics. They're not, of course they're happy to be making the money, but they don't know money. And so they don't know who is and who is not good. So they just take someone's word for it of who they trust, or someone close to them tells them to talk to somebody. And they're just hoping that that person is trustworthy. That's the most important part to them, is that the person is trustworthy and is in it for them.
Yeah.
exactly.
Because a
Yeah.
lot of, I wonder, do you know of any that sound like they were taken advantage of um, by a financial advisor or a trusted professional that should have been managing or helping them manage their money?
So I don't think that I have heard of anyone who has been. I haven't heard any horror stories, but I've just heard situations of, like poor communication, poor service, maybe some questionable. Like I saw one person that there was six figures that was in an account that has a rat fee. So it was every single year is getting charged 1.5%, and it was just sitting in a money market account. Like you don't pay someone 1.5% to put your money in a money market account. Um, that was pretty remarkable to see. But generally, what it is it's the communication side of things. That a lot of them don't get. It's the relationship side of things. It's a more transactional process. Hey, talk to me when it's time to invest more money with me. But if you want to have these monthly meetings or these quarterly meetings, if you want to have these reviews, if you want to be able to discuss real strategy, then, a lot of them aren't doing that. If you can only communicate with me via email. You're not going to have my personal number. You're not going to be able to text me. I don't have the flexibility to talk with you after hours, which is important for athletes because a lot of them can't talk until maybe 6, 7 p.m. Um, so I do know, like, talking with, he's this true sophomore, he's 19 years old with a multiple seven-figure deal. And he was like, I'm just working with in terms of portfolio performance, he was like, it's been fine, at least for what I know. I haven't been able to review it yet, but he was like, I'm not completely dissatisfied there. He was like, I just went to him because he was the only option I had. He's like, this was the only person that I knew to go to through my trainer who said, I have someone. No one else had anyone. This was my only option. And he was like, he only communicates with me through email, which a lot of college students are, probably just got their first email account with
Yeah.
their EDU account, but don't utilize that for, regular communication. He won't ever take phone calls. He won't ever, he doesn't allow texting. He'll only meet with me during typical work hours, which he's like, I have class, I have practice, I have film, I have weights. He's like, I literally can't do that. He was like, he promised me these planning calls and we haven't done one of them. So it's mostly just like the communication side of things, which it isn't the end of the world, but I do think that when it comes down to your financial team, you shouldn't have any red flags. You shouldn't have
No.
any dissatisfaction of that manner. And communication, I think, is first and foremost.
Can't have barriers to entry when someone's actually a client. So
Yeah, right.
that's tough. I think we should touch on what we do. So one of the things that we've like kind of refined the process over and over, and I think we've dialed in a pretty darn good process now with meeting with these guys, with these athletes. But essentially, how Matt and I will present it is we have this presentation, kind of walks them through, the few simple steps and strategies that we want to implement. And then we have an actual, if I know what their income is, we have a screen or a PowerPoint slide that shows here's what you're going to owe, give or take, if you do nothing. Here's what you're going to owe if you do this. Here's what you're going to owe if you do this. So we kind of give, we can't give exact numbers, but we give pretty good ballpark numbers. And then they're able to see, okay, here's how much I'm going to save. And then we like to pass it over to Cody. Hey, you're going to save, let's just say for easy math, we're going to save you $10,000 on your taxes based on this number per year, doing this simple strategy. What could you do with that money in the market potentially working with Cody? So that's always just a great thing to kind of do in tandem. I think that's super powerful for these guys.
Yeah. The way that I've told you guys, the way that I like to explain it with y'all is, I mean, you have to pay taxes. It's not an opt-in or opt-out thing. And generally with y'all, it is almost like a handshake. I will pay you this much for y'all to do what you're good at in exchange to probably save 10, 15, 20 times the amount of, what you're paying for the services
It
you're
is.
paying for. So,
and I only brought up the tax saving side. The compliance side obviously is just as important, like if not more. Like we do assist in the annual tax planning meetings so that we can make sure your taxes are filed on time, your books are clean, everything's taken care of for compliance. That's number one. Number two, then, is your tax planning. Let's see how much money we can legally save you on your taxes, and then you can work with Cody moving forward. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Yep. One of the things that I think is important that I've been trying to ensure as a part of the process for the athletes that I work with is we want to make this as simplified as possible. Let's determine specific goals. Let's make sure that all of our monies have a job. All of our money has a job, has an assignment, is working towards a specific goal. But then let's separate and automate everything. So as soon as that paycheck hits, boom, it's automated. The estimated tax amount is going straight towards an account, a high savings account, money market account, whatever is determined the appropriate account for taxes. Now we've determined the right investment accounts and we have a percentage allocation based off our contract because we know the contracts are all different and they vary in terms of their payments. The proportionate percentage going towards the backdoor Roth IRA or your solo 401k or your SEP IRA or your standard brokerage account. And it's all going there. It's automatic. The amount is going towards your agent, whatever other appropriate fees are. Everything's got a category. And then the idea is that when you see that $50,000 paycheck, you don't have the illusion of 50,000 staring you in the face saying you can spend all this without consequence. You have the budgeted amount that we've determined is appropriate and desirable based off your wants and needs, and emphasis on appropriate, appropriate and desirable based off your wants and needs, to be able to spend with confidence and consequence free should you spend it all. Not saying you need to spend it all, but it's nice because I had some guys who are like, I don't spend that much money, but I like to eat out. I like to DoorDash. I like these things. Sometimes I'm just worried that I'm spending tax money. I'm spending money that I shouldn't be spending. So they're like, I would like for there to be a way to just kind of get all the fluff out of the way and just know what is mine to spend. So it's like, all right, let's do that. Let's have that. So you know, plain and simple, what is spendable amount. And then we always run forecasts with all the numbers that are dedicated towards our future self from an investment standpoint. And what I think is so impactful there, I always run the numbers. And generally within a singular contract, even some of the smaller contracts you see in NIL, just because of the time horizon, the vast majority of these athletes can set aside a dollar amount that will not even impact their ability to spend and buy the things that they want. That if they never did another thing again, I'll make sure that they do other things if we work together. But if they never did another thing ever again, they would be set up on pace for a multiple 7-figure future retirement.
And we have one of those situations that we just started working with, right? That potentially could just live off of dividends when he's 32, by the time he's 32.
Oh, yeah. In his 30s, if he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to work for money. If he never does anything ever again based off this contract.
You know what I also think is powerful is how much it benefits, because let's be honest, how long is any athlete in college going to continue playing for? Because how likely is it that they'll make it to a league and make more money? And then even when they do make it to the league, what's the likelihood that they play for 10 years, right? Like, you're going to have to make money somewhere else. Right. And making sure that there's some, but in a position where you're making, $500,000 in each of your 4 years in school, how helpful is it for you to have that, a lot of that saved for future, whether you want to be an entrepreneur? I mean, we're the Entrepreneur Lounge. What if you want to be an entrepreneur? Now you have a little bit of a nest egg. You don't have to go to borrow money. You have it. And what does it look like to go buy a house? You have wealth that you can utilize within your family and other things outside of sports, because eventually you can't play forever. The harsh truth.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I got to find something else that you're good at, and you can really set yourself up when you have. They can set themselves up if they have the right people around them to help them look in the future and say, hey, look, 10 years down the road, let's be honest with ourselves. What's the likelihood that we will be making the same money we're making today?
Yeah.
So I know the NFL stands for not for long. What does the NBA stand for? Like not balling all the time or something like that?
Not for long. Yeah. I wonder what their spin of the acronym is. Something that, based off what you were just talking about, kind of popped in my mind when we were talking about not too long ago, is how much with this kind of team and these processes automated and handled by professionals, how much time does that give the athlete and focus does that give the athlete to redirect back to the game? Probably, I'd be curious to try to quantify that. The amount of time, because I met with one kid, and this is actually really sad. I've talked about it because his dad just won't accept a conversation with anyone. But he was talking to me, and he was like, I stay up most nights like studying these things because I'm making a lot of money and I know it can change my life and I know it's probably not going to last forever. So I'm trying to determine what the best thing to do with it is. And I think I have some ideas, but I want to focus on basketball and I'm not a financial professional. And frankly, I'm too scared to do it myself. And he was like, I really want to work with you, but I just need to get my dad involved. His dad won't even, this is very, very uncommon, but his dad won't even accept like an intro call with me.
Man.
Which is, it's actually really saddening. This is the only time this has happened. How my thought process was, gosh, this kid is staying up late at night studying these things.
Yeah.
And if he could just have someone who would handle all these things for him and have the peace of mind that he's made the right decisions and put together a plan beyond ball with the vast amount of money that he's making, how much peace of mind, comfort, time does that give him to be able to dedicate back into, being a student athlete? So it was a pretty saddening story that I'm telling. Hopefully, maybe his dad comes around at some point and I
Man,
can help him. But
look,
that stuff also happens.
I'm not gonna be a parent till November, okay? But parents, I'm not gonna say get out of the way because I don't think you should get out of the way, but let your kids develop some understanding of financials. I didn't understand it at 21, 22. I wish I would have been investing at that time. Let your kids at least explore the possibility. Everybody involved in money and finances is not a bad person. So there's a lot of bad ones out there, but doesn't mean they all are. So let them have conversations. Don't I'm not saying let them do everything, but let them hear everyone out. It's the least you can do. That's all. Okay, I'm done.
Conversations free. Yep.
Yeah. So don't block that call. But guys, this has been great. I got to jump to a call here in a couple minutes, but this has been awesome. And I definitely we're gonna keep doing this every month. I think we're on the calendar for. So it's been awesome, guys. Really appreciate the time.
Yep. Love it. All right, guys.
Later.